What's up, guys, and welcome back to Lincoln. We have made it to the end of the season, and we've won the league. We quite convincingly won the league by, what's that, like 12 points in the end? So, yeah, pretty convincing. Although, having said that, as you can see from our goals conceded, our defence didn't really improve at all throughout the season, and the only reason we really won the league was because of our strike force, given that we pretty much scored double the amount of goals we conceded. It was pretty much just score more than you concede, and that was pretty much how I went through this season. So yeah, it worked out for us in the end, and we won the league quite convincingly. At the start of the season, I think we were kind of on par with a lot of the teams at the top half of the table, but getting into the second half of the season, we really kind of turned it on. I think a lot of our players that we got at the start of the season that had good potential started to come through towards the second half of the season, and unfortunately we lost our two best defenders in January because they were both on loan, which probably didn't help our defensive woes, but we quickly got in some reinforcements in that position, and it seemed to, they didn't really improve, but they definitely obviously fill the gap that was needed to be filled. And folk like Rabbity, he's like come on a long way. He's 71 rated now. 71! And our goalkeeper that I brought through from our youth team is up to 76. And I'm still not sure if he's actually any good or not. He seems to be pretty decent, but he concedes a lot of goals where you're like, how did you miss that? Like, I think his positioning's his worst trait. 71. It's kind of lacking behind everything else, and he does get caught out a few times. Like, I've seen him come running out of his goal, like without me telling him to. Obviously, he'll just come running out, and he'll get completely caught off because he'll be out like in the middle of nowhere, and they'll pass the ball to somebody else, or like square pass it, and he'll just tap it in because there's no goalkeeper in the way. So yeah, it's kind of annoying, and he's conceded a few shots where they've like sort of, I wouldn't say chipped it, but the ball's gone over him to the far post, and he's like trying to run back and stretch to get it, and he's not had the ability to get there, and it's dropped in over the top of him, which is kind of annoying. So I think if his positioning gets better, I think he will become a very good goalkeeper. He's just a bit all over the place at the moment, just a wee bit all over the place. So yeah, he's getting there though. He's getting there, and he should be really good by the end of next season. I think he is our top rated, like our most highly valued player. I think he's worth like 5.5 million at this stage now, which is, I mean, I would consider selling him, to be honest. Somebody came in with a good offer, I would actually consider it, but I'm not sure I really want to. We do have other goalkeepers coming through the youth academies, but they're nowhere near this guy, not yet anyway. They might get to where he is, but I think for now we'll hold on to him and see what happens. I will bring through more players. We have brought through a couple more. This Javier boy, or Javier, I'm not really sure how. I think it's pronounced Javier. Pretty decent actually. He's only 59 rated, but I've been playing him a lot more in my first team purely because he's 5-star skills. I mean, it says it all really. So he's technically a centre mid, but as you can see, he can play cam or DM, and I do play him as a cam more than anything else, purely because he's got the ability. Like, he's more suited to a cam. He's a smaller, sort of more agile style player, and with that 5-star skills, he does link the play very, very nicely. And we also have this other guy who is a cam, and can only play as cam apparently, who's actually better suited to playing a deeper role. So I actually tend to play this guy further back, and play Javier in the sort of cam position. So yeah, both of those came through our youth teams. This guy, like, I mean, he's 70 rated already. He's an absolute beast. So I don't even think he's that. How old is he? I missed it. 18. 18. He's already about 70 rated. This guy as well is 17. So yeah, we've got a lot of youth players coming through, and I think that's the only 3 I've promoted so far into the youth team. Like, this guy's 17 as well. So yeah, a lot of youth coming through. Loyola, our left back, we signed right at the start of the season, is up to 65 rated. But yeah, I think not many people have gone up. Ginley, who's on loan, he'll be leaving at the end of the season. He's up to 65, so we might have to look at getting a replacement for our left mid. and green's actually come down a point. Now, what I've been doing the last couple of games, I've actually been trying out something different and putting doing something more like that, because Rabbity has the ability to play as a striker. So I've been kind of playing around with the idea of having him as our number one striker next season. I'm not really sold on the idea yet, to be honest. He's decent. He's decent, but for some reason he struggles to really get in behind. Like he's got better pace than Matt Green. He's also got better ability than Matt Green, pretty much in every factor. But for some reason he just struggles being like that number one striker position. So I might do it, I might not. It depends how much money we get given in next season as to what happens here. Whether we keep Matt Green or get a new striker in, or whether we just sort of promote somebody else into that position. We'll keep Green on the squad. Well, yeah, we'll keep Green on the squad, and we'll probably try playing around with things. We might play Palmer a bit more. He's actually pretty good. Even though he's not got the best pace in the world, he does seem to get in behind, and he's quite strong as well. I mean, 85 strength. He's also 6'5". So he's really good for throwing balls in the box, and he's also got the ability to completely bulldoze defenders. He's done it a few times this season, just absolutely launched defenders and gone way easily past them. So yeah, we might play a bit more of him. He's only 26 now, so yeah, he's possible we might play him a bit more, but I don't think we'll do too much in the forward part of the field, because we have players that can kind of rotate around, so I don't think we really need anything. Where we do definitely need players is in the defensive area. We definitely need a really good centre back. We're struggling at the moment. We've got no good centre backs or any really good defenders at all coming through our youth team, so we're definitely going to have to invest in some defensive players, and a few folk are going to be leaving at the end of the season as well. This guy's on loan, he's off. I think I'm going to pretty much leave a few of these guys to contracts to expire. This guy, he's mid-30s now, so he's going to retire. Walker's definitely going to retire, he's 44. This guy, I'm not going to renew his contract. He's 19, so he's got potential, but I don't think he's going to get that great, to be honest, given that we're now into League One. I don't think by the time he gets to his peak, I don't think he'll be anywhere near quality we need. So I think I'll just let his contract expire and replace him with somebody else from our youth academy, probably. This guy as well, I think his contract's expiring at the end of the month, and I mean it's all just getting money. I just want I could renew their contract and then sell them and see if we could get some money, but I don't really want to go through the hassle. I mean, it used to be that's the thing. With FIFA 17, it used to be easy to renew contracts. You just go here's what you want, sort of thing, carry on. Now you got to go through the whole bloody process of delegating it or doing it yourself, which can, I mean, it's not a disaster, but I would rather not do it, to be honest. And if we get rid of these few players that are just kind of sitting around on the reserves not doing very much, it frees up a lot of transfer wage budget that we can then use better for bringing in some other players possibly in the future. So I think we'll just leave them to expire their contracts. Meanwhile, everybody else will continue, and we'll bring a few folk through from our youth academy. So talking of our youth academy, we'll have a little look at what's going on here. So we have some interesting looking players. This guy, Igor Cardozo, he's a very, very good looking potential. I've only just signed him, I think, last month to our youth academy. So yeah, we can already sign him straight into our first team. I think we'll leave it a bit, but that's what I was saying about our goalkeeper at the moment. We could sell him for 5 odd million and then bring somebody like this lad through as our number one, but he's not quite at the level. Neither of these guys have both got really good potentials. Neither of them are quite at the level that I would want for a striker, a goalkeeper coming into our team. So I think maybe 6 months, train them up, get them up into the mid 60s to 70s sort of region, and then possibly bring them into the first team. So maybe next season we might look at selling a goalkeeper, because we should have probably 3 really good goalkeepers with high potential that we could sell, make a decent amount of money from. This lad as well, this is our guy that I scouted that was supposed to be a star for the future, and you didn't see there, but I did the quotation marks, because I mean his potential has just been coming down. It's kind of leveled out at 80 to 86, but is for somebody, if you go to your your thing and I'll see if I can bring it up. This this stuff here. So in your manager career, you can buy things like a financial takeover, which we're not going to do, but you can scout a future star, which is what I did. Brought in this lad, and his potential's only up to 86. So I mean, if you're scouting a future star, you would expect his potential to be like these guys in the at least mid 80s to 90s if he's going to be a future star. Again with the quotation marks. This guy he's not going to cut it. I mean, he's going to be good. No doubt he's going to be good, but he's not a future star. Like, I'd be expecting 90s. But anyway, carrying on, we've got some other players. This is all we've got. I've promoted 3 and I've got rid of a few as well who are just not really doing much. We've got 2 Igor Cardozos, so it's good to see that FIFA's fixed that. And all the players that come through the youth academies have completely different names these days. Yeah. Anyway, so this guy that we got last season that I hoped was going to be our striker by this time of the season isn't really going to happen. So we're probably, I might just release him because I don't really know if you'll ever get that good. He's got decent value, so I might just sign him and then sell him, possibly. But yeah, look at this guy. He's already got a valuation of 1.6 million, and he's not even in the first team yet because he can't be because he's only 15. So we need to wait until his birthday, then we can sign him properly and see if he's actually any good. The one thing this doesn't show you is what their star level was like. It was like that Javier boy that I signed. Is overall, the only reason I signed him is because he came to got an email saying that he was wanting to cancel his contract. So I was like, right, fine, I'll sign you. His overall was only in the 50s, so I wasn't really that impressed by him, but he had high potential, and then when I signed him, I found out he was 5-star skills, so happy days. But you can't see that for your players when they're in the youth academy. But anyway, what I didn't tell you or show you was the how we did in the cups. So we got knocked out of the EFL Cup early on by Bournemouth, I believe. FA Cup, I can't even remember what happened in the FA Cup, so we never made it, obviously, and Watford managed to win it against Stoke. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful final there. Watford-Stoke. Liverpool made it to the semi-finals before getting knocked out by Stoke on penalties, and Watford beat Leicester. Arsenal got knocked out by Watford on penalties as well. Watford knocked out Man United. Watford had a very hard run. They had to play Man United, Arsenal, Leicester, and then Stoke in the final. I mean, it would only be made worse if they had to play Liverpool. Yeah, that was a very, very hard run for them, and they made it all the way through. I mean, they deserved to win after beating Man United and Arsenal on the way through. But Stoke, not the toughest. Wolves and is that Newport County, Notts County? Can't remember. Anyway, yes, Wolves and Liverpool. Liverpool being the toughest game, obviously going to penalties, and then they lost to Watford. So, yeah, it was a few interesting shocks there. Watford, in particularly, being pretty shocking. But yeah, that was the FA Cup. I think the EFL Cup should be next, and City won that against Stoke, losing in the final. Stoke, we got knocked out by Bournemouth, then Stoke beat Bournemouth on penalties, beat Ipswich, beat Arsenal 2-2, so that was on away goals, and then lost to Man City in the final 2-1. City absolutely annihilating Wolves, so Wolves doing well again. They managed to get, to the, was it the quarterfinals of the FA Cup? Just have a quick wee look. Yeah, quarterfinals Wolves got before being knocked out by Stoke, so they made it one step further in the League Cup, getting all the way to the semis before getting knocked out 5-2 over 2 legs. Nothing. Chelsea got knocked out by Wolves as well on penalties, so Wolves had a pretty tough time. Scunthorpe not being too difficult, but it was still a close game, 2-1. Then obviously beating Chelsea on penalties and then getting knocked out by City. 5-2 over 2 legs, so yeah, they had a pretty tough time of things, but nothing, apart from the Wolverhampton knocking out Chelsea, nothing that ridiculous, really. I mean, Stoke could beat Arsenal any day if they wanted to, it's on their day they could beat anybody, Premier League versus Premier League, but Yeah, nothing too shocking there. So Carabao Cup is won by City, and in the Secretary Trophy we won it, beating Portsmouth 1-0 in the final. Nothing much to say about that. Can't see any of the progression to get there, so I've no idea what anybody did to actually get there, so that's all I can really say about that. League 2 playoffs haven't actually completed yet, so it's either going to be Luton or give me a second. Cambridge, that's it, Cambridge. Definitely didn't have to look that one up. Anyway, yeah, Cambridge or Luton will be joining us in League 1 next season. And that was our pre-season friendly, and the FIFA World Cup's about to be played. Unfortunately, because we're not in Europe, we can't actually see what happened in Europe, so we can't see the Europa League or the Champions Cup. So unfortunately, we can't see that, so we don't know who won it. But yeah, we'll be in League 1 next season, along with Mansfield, Notts County, and either Cambridge and Luton, or Luton. So one of those two. I mean, interestingly, it was the two teams at the bottom of the playoff group that actually made it to the final. So it was one of those two that are go through. Wickham and Colchester both getting knocked out in the semi-finals of the playoffs. But anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to chat about this week. So made it to the end of the season. We're going to be in League 1 next season. I think it's going to be a much tougher time with this squad next season. Really depends how much money we get given. I've not been impressed by the amount of money we've been given so far, given that we've only got a grand total of 4,000 in our transfer budget and an extra 6,000 in our wage budget. We have made a profit this season so far, so the club should be quite happy with me. But yeah, if we get given a decent amount of money, I mean, given that we won the league and the Secretary Trophy, we should be given a decent amount of money, I would imagine. But I think by the end of the season, we were definitely probably. I mean, I say definitely, probably. That's a really big contradiction. Anyway, we were I would imagine up there in terms of the squad rating. I mean, given that we were all 60s. I mean, thinking back to my Markham career, we had 50 rated players playing for us in my Markham career back when I started. So this team, when we first started this season, were all 60s. I don't think we had anybody in the first team that was below 60 rated. So we definitely had a team to compete. And by the end of the season, given that we add in Rabbity at 71 rated and Silviera was 76 rated goalkeeper, we definitely had the team to win that league, and well, we won it quite easily. So I think next season though, it might be a bit of a different story. We're not going to have a massive amount of money to play with, and we're probably going to have to try and sign at least one decent centre back, and imagine probably a winger, given that we're losing two this season, both on loan. So I think we'll need to look at getting another winger in there, and possibly a striker if we have enough money left over. But definitely a centre back. That is our priority number one for next season, is trying to get a really good quality, like 70 rated or at least high 60s with good potential centre back for next season. But we'll find out next week when we get to the transfer deadline day, summer transfer deadline day. And yeah, I'll see you then. So if you've enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys next week. So until then, cheerio.